The Raiders officially hired their offensive coordinator, and let's just say it wasn't cheap. Russell Wilson shuts down any rumors about reuniting with Pete Carroll, and Myles Garrett officially requests a trade, and could the Raiders be interested? Yo, what is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Simone Raider back at it again with yet another video. If this is the very first time you guys are coming across the channel and you guys love daily Raider content, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button just to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. We got a lot to unpack in today's video, but first things first, I want to talk about our new offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. Now, news did break out just yesterday. According to Ian Rappaport, the Las Vegas Raiders are hiring former NFL head coach Chip Kelly as their next offensive coordinator. And to add on to that, per Albert Breer, he reported that the Las Vegas Raiders told candidates during their search they were making a serious commitment with an infusion of cash from the new owners. Here it is. Chip Kelly was lured to Las Vegas with a deal averaging $6 million per year, making him the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL, which is really huge and just shows how important this is for this team and for this new regime. Now, you look at the Raiders coaching staff right now, man, we are stacked. And you guys know my feeling about this. I talked about it on yesterday's live stream, man. I was really excited about this news. Chip Kelly, of course, wasn't a name that I thought of being an offensive coordinator, especially with the season that he already had with Ohio State winning the national championship. I didn't know if he was going to leave or not, or even come to the Las Vegas Raiders. But it's good that we bring him in because he's one guy that's really, really experienced. And if there's one thing I've been talking to you guys about all offseason is bringing in coaches that are experienced, especially after a year that we had last season with, AP, Lou Getz, and even Patrick Graham over here. But, we did bring back Patrick Graham. Outside of that, though, I can say that I really do like this move. Now, looking at Kelly's coaching career over the years, man, of course, he's famously known with his time with the Oregon Ducks, being their head coach. Now, he did go to Philadelphia Eagles as their head coach. Didn't really pan out for them, even though he had a good year the first year he was there. After that, they just started going downhill. Then he went to the San Francisco 49ers. It didn't pan out over there either. Now, he did go back to college and coached up the UCLA Bruins, but then he stepped down and just became an offensive coordinator, went to Ohio State, and in his first season there, won a national championship. And knowing that he could possibly come back to the NFL one day, it seems like that day was yesterday, because now he's a part of the Raiders' new staff as our offensive coordinator. And I can't be more excited than I am right now. Outside of the head coaching job, the OC job was really, really important for us because we know how much our offense has struggled over the past couple of years, and especially not having a quarterback, that did not help at all. After we got Pete Carroll, then bringing back Patrick Graham, which was a huge hiring for the Raiders, it was only a matter of time on figuring out who the offense coordinator was going to be. And I wanted somebody that, can run an offense, somebody that had that experience. And Chip Kelly is definitely that guy. Now, we know that his head coaching career wasn't that good, and I would have been worried if he came over here to Las Vegas as a head coach. But the fact that he's just going to be coming on as a coordinator for this team to build with this new regime, man, makes me more excited about what we're going to do this offseason. Now, one big thing that Kelly is known for is his fast-paced, high-scoring spread offense, which revolutionized college football during his time at Oregon. Now, knowing his history, we know what kind of quarterback we can expect, and that's definitely a dual threat quarterback. And there's going to be a lot of options out there. And according to some rumors out there, well, NFL rumors on Twitter, they tweeted, Commanders Marcus Mariota is a name to watch for a veteran quarterback for the Raiders. Mariota excelled in Chip Kelly's offense, and Jaden Daniels talked about what a strong influence he was. And he's one name for sure that I would love to bring back over here to Las Vegas, especially as a veteran option. He's definitely going to be cheap. He's going to be on the market. And I know that I was down for Russell Wilson, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit later because, he shut down some rumors. But, if we're looking at veteran quarterbacks that could come in and be a teacher and could at least be a bridge quarterback if we need him to be, then Marcus Mariota is definitely a guy that we could strongly consider being over here in Las Vegas, coming back over here to the ninth island. Now, I took some time to kind of look into free agency and then kind of look into the draft on possible quarterback fits for this team, which really makes my job a little bit easier now. Now, you look at free agency, of course, Marcus Mariota is on the top of that list. Now, Justin Fields' name is definitely going to be more intriguing for this team, even more than, Russell Wilson's connection to Pete Carroll, because Justin Fields, who can get it done, with his legs and with his arm, and the fact that he's still young with a high ceiling. I feel like if he does hit free agency and the Steelers don't bring him back, the Raiders need to do everything in their power to bring him over here to Las Vegas to be that guy to take over for now and even for the next couple of years until the quarterback that we draft in the draft can just develop till their time is ready. So Justin Fields would be at the top of my list. Trey Lance is another name that I would bring up, a cheap option that nobody's really expecting that could come over here and possibly turn his whole career around, kind of like what Sam Darnold did with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, some trade options that I could see the Raiders doing. One is Joe Milton from the New England Patriots. There's the strong possibility that he might be traded to some team out there, and the Raiders, knowing that we need a dual threat quarterback and somebody that's young that could learn, he's a guy that I would definitely consider. Another guy that I would consider is somebody that played under Chip Kelly back at UCLA, DTR from the Cleveland Browns, somebody that's not going to cost a lot, but reuniting with Chip Kelly could do wonders over here. So those are some guys that I see in free agency or even on the trade block that the Raiders can go out in. Now, looking at the draft, there's going to be a lot of options, and I see a lot of these quarterbacks possibly excelling under Chip Kelly. Now, of course, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders could be two names that we could possibly get that would be good. I feel like would excel in Chip Kelly's offense. But if we don't have to trade up or not, sit at number 6 and go get Jackson Dart, whether in the first or second round. Jackson Dart, I think, is the perfect. When I think of a Chip Kelly quarterback, I think of Jackson Dart. And knowing that Jackson Dart has been getting a lot of praise and the Raider Nation is behind this, I think he seems like the best option for the Raiders. But if the Raiders don't go in that direction, we can look at Dillon Gabriel, who's been lighting it up so far at the Senior Bowl, and he seems like the prototypical Chip Kelly quarterback as well, and we wouldn't even have to trade up for him. We could possibly even get him in the second, maybe even the third round, who knows. But the last quarterback that I really see as a huge possibility, especially with his time at Ohio State, just winning a national champion and already has a relationship with Chip Kelly, is Will Howard. And that's a guy we definitely don't have to trade up for. So the Raiders can go in so many different directions. It just makes me more excited to see who's going to be the next quarterback for this Las Vegas Raiders team. Those are just some of the quarterbacks that I feel like, fit this offense under Chip Kelly and are definitely some intriguing names to keep an eye on. Now, I know I told you guys how excited I was about this hiring, and, I really am. And when you look at the Raiders' new regime, the new coaching staff that we have over here going into this new season, I'm really pumped up even more than I was last season. I know I was hyped up about last season, but looking at the roster, looking at the people that we have running the show right now, I think it's going to be a really huge year for this team. Last year, we hired Tom Telesco as the GM. We had Antonio Pierce as the head coach. We had Luke Getsy as the offense coordinator, and then we had Patrick Graham as the defense coordinator. Now, fast forward to today, looking at what we have, John Spytek as the GM, Pete Carroll as the head coach, Chip Kelly as the offense coordinator, and Patrick Graham returning as the defense coordinator.
My neck and my back.
How can you not be excited about this team, man? We've got so much experience here in Las Vegas. It's not even funny anymore. And I'm really excited. And I feel like the Raiders are slowly going to be turning the tables because I feel like greatness is slowly coming. I know I say this a lot, but it just seems a little bit different this year because we have guys that have done it before. But I want to ask you guys real quick, what grade would you guys give this new coaching staff and this new GM? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, I would give it a solid B+. And the reason why I give it a solid B+ because everything on paper looks beautiful. I think it's perfect. But it's one thing to look good, and it's another thing to actually play good. Until the Raiders go out there and they show that they turn things around and we maybe get into the playoffs, then I could give this whole coaching staff, an A+. But I feel like with the new culture that Pete Carroll is going to be building over here, and the fact that he brought in people that not only bring continuity to the team, but also bring experience at their specific positions, offensively and defensively, I think the sky's the limit for this team. I can easily say that this is the best coaching staff that the Raiders has put together in a very long time. That is yet to be seen, and I just hope that all of that translates onto the field, and it's all going to depend on what the Raiders do this offseason, bringing in the players, bringing in, some positional coaches, but nonetheless, I feel like the Raiders are in good position. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now that we got a new offense coordinator, it seems like Scott Turner will be heading to New York. According to Tom Pelissero, he tweeted out that the Jets are hiring Scott Turner as their pass game coordinator per sources. Turner, just 42 years old, has called plays for multiple teams, including last season as the Raiders interim offense coordinator, a valuable resource for first-time OC Tanner Ing Strange. in New York. And that's good news. Shout out to Scott Turner on landing a job. I think he did a solid job for the Raiders for what was there last season, but it is what it is. You know, got to move on with what we got right now, and I'm not looking back, and I'm not even worried about it. But one guy I do want to highlight real quick is Russell Wilson, and he's a guy that I've talked about a lot, and a guy that I wouldn't mind coming over here to Las Vegas to reunite with Pete Carroll. And there has been a lot of, you know, reports and rumors about him possibly coming and reuniting with Pete Carroll, but Russell Wilson quickly shot that down. He told AP that he's focused on the Steelers despite the rumors linking him to the Raiders, saying Pete's going to be a great coach. Obviously, he's great at what he does, but I'm focused on the Steelers. And you know what? That's totally fine. I'm not worried about it. If he does end up coming over here, or if he does hit the open market, I'm sure there's going to be some interest there. But if he does stay with the Steelers, so be it. Like I said earlier, with Chip Kelly officially as the offense coordinator, I definitely would want to go in a different direction, whether it's getting Justin Fields or getting any of these other guys like Trey Lance, or drafting a guy like Jackson Dart for sure, and even just bringing in Marcus Mariota as that veteran leader to be a mentor for whatever young quarterback we do bring in. So it is what it is. Just got to move on. Now, some big news that dropped out today that I want to talk about is Myles Garrett officially requesting a trade. Now, this was some breaking news that I woke up to, which I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy. And the funny thing is, I was just sitting here, I was like, man, watch the Raider fans start saying, hey, he's going to come to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders should get him. And I didn't even want to put that out or anything like that. I wasn't going to put anything out like that until Diana Rossini wanted to tweet this out. Another GM just text, the Raiders should consider trading for Myles Garrett to pair him up with Max Crosby. And I was like, damn, I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to bring this up. Now, I'm not saying that the Raiders are interested or they're going to go out and get him and whatnot, but I thought, you know, I want to talk about this because it really would be interesting. And I want to give you guys my thoughts on this. Now, Myles Garrett did post this on Instagram. Now, I'm not going to read it all, but you guys can pause and read it through yourself. Do I feel like the Raiders could be an option for him? Maybe, maybe not. But I know a lot of people are going to bring up the fact that he really wants to compete and win a Super Bowl. And knowing the Raiders timeline, I don't even know if that's in our future right now. But crazier things have happened. And imagining him with Max Crosby on the other side on this defense, if the Raiders were able to get this done some way, somehow, my goodness. Every quarterback better pray for their lives, man. I think it would definitely boost up the defense. I feel like our defense could definitely be A1 since day one. Yeah, that I mean. Would I do it? Hell yes. Now, will it actually happen? I don't think so. And I'm not going to say that the Raiders need to do this move, but just me selfishly as a Raider fan, as a biased Raider fan, and just looking at how crazy this would be, of course I would like it. Now, what would it cost for the Raiders to do this if they were actually interested? It would definitely cost a first-round pick. I don't think it's going to take multiple first-round picks, but giving up the 6th overall pick this year and maybe a 3rd-round pick and possibly a player or 2 3rd-round picks, who knows? And I think even at that price, if you want to give up that 1st-round pick for Myles Garrett, hey, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. But I know we don't have to do that. And I know that quarterback's a big need. And if Jackson Dart does go up in the draft, giving up that 1st-round pick is going to be really tough. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, though. Then again, the Raiders could just keep their picks and just draft Abdul Carter if he's still there at number 6. And then we'll be all right. With all that being said, though, Raider Nation, let me know your thoughts on all of this. How do you guys feel about Chip Kelly as the new offense coordinator over here? How do you guys feel about Myles Garrett possibly being an option for the Raiders, and would you guys go out and trade for him to have him play alongside of Max Crosby? And what would you give up for that? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Until the next one, this is your boy Some More Raider, and your boy is Yow.